This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys, a very warm welcome to this SCCM demo session. In this session, I'm going to show you what all things we normally do in SCCM training and what all topics will be covered and what will be the duration and what will be the opportunities after this, SCCM training session. So we'll talk about all those things. But before we move further, I would like you guys to introduce yourself. Tell me about yourself. What is your IT experience and what is your expectation out of this SCCM training session? Carlos, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Sorry for that. I was on mute.
No, no,
Okay,
it's
well, my name is Carlos. Right now, I'm from Mexico and I'm a
mm-hmm,
systems engineer. Right now, I'm working with a company. The name is Appalachia Group.
mm-hmm.
And right now, also, one of the projects that I having it's to manage the CCM on the company. So that's what I'm trying to, interest on this course.
Okay. So you are from Mexico and you are using SCCM in your company, right?
That is correct. I'm trying to use now. It's a new implementation.
New implementation. Okay. Okay. Understood. Um, what is your IT experience, Carlos?
My IT experience, I'm most likely work with Linux. I'm a
Okay.
sysadmin, and right now, I'm trying to cover the Windows admin that I'm trying
Windows.
to
Okay.
AD, group policy. This one, the
Mm-hmm.
system configuration manager, um,
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff, but in Windows now. So I'm trying to, with my new goal, it's to admin the 2016 servers, Windows Server 2016. That's the new ones, and the 20,
Yeah.
2012.
Okay. Understood. Okay. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hari, would you like to introduce yourself? Can't hear you, Hari. Hari, you there? No, Hari, we are not able to hear you. Would you like to write about your self and your IT experience and expectation out of this training? Yeah. In the meantime, Mohammed, would you like to introduce yourself? Mohammed Ashfaq. Hello. Can't hear you, Mohammed.
Yeah, this is Mohammed Ashfaq. Yeah,
Hi.
this is Mohammed
Yeah.
Ashfaq. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm working in Saudi Arabia in one of the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Some past 15 years I'm working in the IT field on various uh, as a system engineer, and now I was working as a storage and VM and backup engineer. So this I worked SSM 2012 in 14 and 15 to the in year 2014 and 15. Now I've given the task for this once again. I just want
Mm-hmm.
to refresh it.
Okay. No worries. So you are currently working in Saudi Arabia in
Yeah,
on VMware and storage profile, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And now you need to start working on SCCM too.
No, I have given the task for SCCM as well. So I just want to.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Fine. Ram,
Hi, can you hear me?
yes.
Yes. Okay. Hi, Ram. So I'm working with a company like Protect. So I'm a system administrator. I'm using a CCM 2012. So basically, I want to spec some new features with the current branch. What are the differences and what is the currently I'm working the using 2012. So basically, I would like to understand the new feature in current branch and so that I can go ahead to upgrade the environment and utilize that. I have a 4 year experience in a
Mhm.
SCCM. Before that, I have worked on Active Directory card. Uh, so total IT experience is more than 8 years.
8 years. Okay. So you are currently working on 2012, right? Okay. Understood. Thank you. Um,
so this is
Reza?
Kashif, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello,
Yeah.
this is
Hi,
Hari. Are you
Hari.
guys able
Yeah,
to hear?
Hari. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Myself, Hari. I'm working as application packager in Reputed Insurance Company here in Minneapolis, United States. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm strong at deployment an application point of view, but I love to know from the scratch, like domains, boundaries, and operating system deployment. Yeah, I'm good at only application packaging and pushing from the SCCM part. So I love to
Mm-hmm.
learn other concepts in SCCM.
Right. So basically, you are from application packaging background.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I got
and
recently I got promoted to SCCM administrator. So I love to
okay.
know about all them
Okay.
from the
So
scratch.
basically, you already know the deployment part,
Yeah.
deployment of application through
Mhm.
SCCM, but you would like to deep dive and understand in and outs of SCCM, right?
Yeah,
So
from
that
the
you
scratch,
can
like
start. Yeah.
creating your architecture and everything.
Right. 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 Very good. Reza?
Yes, man. I'm a IT professional from Sydney. I'm working in various systems and operating systems from 2008 to 2016 at the moment. And I would like to gain some knowledge about SCCM. I've got basic understanding of SCCM, and I would like to know more about it and how to implement this.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Thank you so much for the introduction, guys. Would you like to send your email address on the chat window for my reference? Everyone. So Carlos, Hari, Muhammad, Ram, Reza. Okay, there was one more guy, but he's offline now. Okay, guys. So you guys can see my screen, I think. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kashif. I am from India, as you guys already know about it. Um, I am a Microsoft certified professional. I have somewhere around 11 years of experience. I have trained more than 8,000 students globally. Um, So I normally conduct this online training, classroom training, corporate training, and I have my other online methods to deliver SCCM training. I am a CCNA, MCTS, MCSA, MCSE certified professional. I have SCCM Intune, Active Directory, application packaging, Azure PowerShell. These are my core expertise, and I'm a BSc IT graduate. I completed my graduation from Mumbai University, and then I started working as system administrator. So this is about me. Now let's discuss about the training duration. So the total duration for this training is going to be 35 hours. Okay. Now we will be doing weekdays session. So we will do 1.5 hour session Monday to Friday. Every day we will have 1.5 hour session. The total days required to finish all the topics is going to be 25 to 28 days. And I also do weekend session, and for weekends it is going to be 3 hours on Saturday and 3 hours on Sunday, and it takes somewhere around 12 days, like 6 weekends, to finish all the topics. Now what we are going to discuss in the training, let me take you through that. So this is the course content, guys. I hope you guys can see it properly. So module 1, we have multiple modules. So the course is divided into modules. So the first thing what we will do is we will discuss about SCCM architecture. Okay, we will discuss about SCCM sites and site hierarchy, and then we'll deploy SCCM primary site. Then we will discover all the resources inside SCCM console, and we'll start managing those resources. Then we will deploy SCCM agent to all the computers. We'll do the hardware inventory, software metering, asset intelligence. So we'll manage all the devices, we'll manage the inventory and software metering. Then we will do reports and querying. We will query the devices, query the collections, and we will get the reports out of it. So there are n number of formats available. Either you get it in Excel or PDF or Word document, so that you can create your own customized queries and customized reports, from SSRS SQL Server. So after that, we'll deploy applications through application model and package model. So as Hari, you said, you are good with deployment. So the people who are from packaging background, they already know this application deployment. So we will deploy 10-15 applications through application model and packages model using SCCM and see how it goes. There are multiple methods of deployment. Then software updates, we'll deploy software updates to all the devices to keep the devices up to date, because Microsoft is releasing updates every second Tuesday of the month. So we will download those updates and deploy it to the devices. just to make sure all the devices are having latest updates. Then we will deploy operating system. So we will see how do we deploy operating system on devices. There are multiple methods of operating system deployment. I like bare metal deployment, wipe and reload, in place upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Okay, so those things we will be covering in this topic. Then we will deploy endpoint protection, the antivirus to all the computers, and we'll see how to create endpoint protection policies and how to update endpoint protection on regular basis. Then compliance setting. We'll see how to create a compliance baseline, and the devices will be coming in the reports whether their devices are compliant or non-compliant. So we'll see that too. Then this is an additional topic, that is more Intune, mobile device management. So basically Intune is now used in many companies to manage mobile devices like Android or iPhone or iPad or iOS or Windows devices. So we'll see how to integrate Intune in SCCM and manage mobile devices. And we will also create policies and deploy to the devices through Intune. Then we'll discuss about power management, remote control using SCCM. Then we'll perform the backup of SCCM because backup is very much required. So in case something goes wrong, we can restore SCCM when you have the backup. So we'll see the backup and disaster recovery, how to recover or restore SCCM using backup files. Then we will add a new secondary site, and we'll see what all prerequisites are required to install a new secondary site. And during installation of secondary site, we will see how to install management point and distribution point. These are the things will be covered. Then miscellaneous topics like maintenance window, role-based administration, accessing SCCM from a different computer, resource explorer, Windows 10 servicing model, Office 365, update deployment, upgrade SCCM from old version to new version. So basically it is divided into 16 modules, and it's gonna take somewhere around 25 days to finish all these topics. Okay, every day we are gonna do 1.5 hour session. Now let's discuss about SCCM history, when this SCCM started. Okay, and what is the current version of SCCM in the market. So as you guys know, SCCM was started in 1994, and it started as SMS 1.0. Then in 1992, Microsoft updated it and they released SMS 2.0. Then in 2003, SMS 2003 was released. So these were the versions, previous versions of SCCM. SMS was the old name, System Management Server. Previously, we used to call it as SMS, System Management Server. But from 2007 onwards, Microsoft started putting it as SCCM. So System Center Config Manager. So basically, System Center is an umbrella. Inside that umbrella, Config Manager is one of the products. Okay, so you have other products inside System Center too, like SCOM, SCVM, SCSM. Similarly, SCCM is one of the products inside System Center. So in 2007, they released SCCM 2007, and after that, they released multiple versions of SCCM 2007, like SP1, SP2, SP3. In 2012, Microsoft released SCCM 2012 and then multiple versions. Then Microsoft stopped putting these terms like SP1, SP2, SP3. Now they are using year and month. So 2015 November. So SCCM was released in 15 November. So year 15 is the year and 11 is the month. Similarly, in the year 2016, they released these three versions. So February 1602, in the month of June 1606, and in the month of October 1610. These are the three versions released by Microsoft in the year 2016. Then these three versions in the year 2017, and these three versions in the year 2018. Now the latest version of SCCM that is released already 1902, that is released in February this year, February 2019. That is its that is still in technical preview, okay, but it is already released. You cannot use this in production, but it is in technical review. If you would like to download and install it for your test lab purpose, you can do so. So it started in 1994, and now the current and latest and greatest version of SCCM is 1902. So this is the historical background of SCCM. I hope you understood, guys. Okay, everyone.
Yeah.
Now, the certification. So if you would like to take SCCM exam, you need to take this one, 70-703. That's the exam code. Microsoft is conducting that exam, and the name of the exam is this one: Administering Microsoft System Center Config Manager and Cloud Services Integration. You need to pay at least 160 US dollar if you are in different countries. I mean, apart from India. If you're in India, then you will have to pay somewhere around 4,800 Indian rupees. So, but apart from India, you will have to spend 160 US dollar to take this exam. Total marks is 1000, passing score is 700, and after uh, taking this exam, if you successfully pass this exam, you get Microsoft Certified Technology Specialist certificate from Microsoft. So you will become MCTS. Now let's talk about the opportunities in SCCM. So if you are studying any um, technology, so you should also know the market value. So currently SCCM holds 43% of market share. So 43% is a big number. Okay, so SCCM will be available in most of the mid-size and big-size companies. You know, SCCM will be deployed in mid-size and big-size companies. So if people are using SCCM, they also need SCCM administrators. So that's the reason SCCM administrators are earning somewhere around 45 US dollar as per the statistic. Okay, so that's the statistic. That's the average earning salary for people who are in US, Canada, or different countries. This number is not for India, guys. Okay, this is not for India. Okay, so we have a lot of opportunities as per Indeed and Dice website. These are the two leading job portals in US and Canada. In India, you are getting somewhere around 800,000. 800,000. This is 80,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 800,000 Indian rupees per annum. Okay, so that's the average salary for SCCM administrator. 8 lakh. We call it lakh. You know, so 8 lakh per annum. Now let's talk about the sites in SCCM. There are 3 sites in SCCM: central administration site, primary site, and secondary site. So these are sites, and each site has its functionalities. Out of these 3 sites, this one is optional site, central administration site, and secondary site is an optional site. These two are optional, but primary site is the major site. This one is like mandatory site. You have to have this site. Without this, you will not be able to manage any devices. So you must have this site to in wherever you deploy SCCM, you must have primary site. Without this, you cannot simply you cannot do anything. Okay, central and secondary, these are two optional sites. We'll discuss about these things in when we go in the actual training. Then I have put this, what is central administration site. I'm not going into details since it's a demo session. So primary site is a major site in SCCM. It's a mandatory site. Secondary is an optional site. This is needed when you have to manage devices in remote location. Then only second site comes into the picture. Otherwise, it's not required. Then the capability of site. So one central administration site can have up to 25 child primary site, and it can manage up to 700,000 devices. 700,000 devices if you are using SQL Server Enterprise version. It's a big number, 700,000. You will hardly see any company which has 700,000 devices. Okay, I don't think any company will be there apart from IBM. IBM is the one which has like, I think 400,000 users all over the globe. So the capability of primary site is basically it supports 250 secondary site, 250 child site, distribution point, 10 management point, and 50,000 clients when you are using SQL on a different on the same server, and 100,000 devices when you are using on a separate server. So the maximum capability of primary site is it can manage up to 100,000 devices. Secondary site can manage up to 5,000 devices. So this is the capability of SCCM.
Chief,
Now basically, yeah.
well, I have a question there. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
An example. Well, you said that a primary site, I mean, it's mandatory, right, to manage
Mm-hmm.
the SCM. But what happens if I do not have a primary site and can I install just a central administration site and start with that one without a primary?
Yes, you can start with central administration site. You can install central administration site, but you have to install primary site after that. Otherwise, it is
Oh,
of no use.
oh, it's mandatory. I mean, a central administration site, then beside, I need to install a primary site.
Yeah, either you install central administration before primary site or after primary site.
Okay,
But primary site has to be there.
okay,
Got it?
got it. Okay, thanks.
And this secondary site is a child of primary. So it cannot be installed without primary. So you have to have primary first, then only you can install secondary side. Secondary side cannot exist without primary. Correct?
All right.
Now let's consider this architecture. This is SCCM architecture. There are three levels here. This is level 1, this one is level 2, and this one is level 3. Okay. Now let's understand the level 1. Now suppose you started a company and you put up your head office in Houston. And Houston has, for example, 50,000 devices. Okay. What will you do? You will put one primary site, right? One primary site will be managing all these 50,000 devices. And we call it standalone primary site. So we don't need any secondary site because it is one location. All the devices are located in one building. All devices are connected on local LAN network. You just need one primary site, and that primary site will be managing all 50,000 devices. So that is pretty straightforward if you don't have branch offices. So all the devices will be managed by one primary site. Now, in case if you have expanded your business, so from Houston, Houston will be your head office, headquarter, but you put your branch office in Seattle and one branch office in Boston. Let's say Seattle has like 2,000 devices and Boston has like 5,000 devices. Now, Seattle and Boston, these two locations are connected on WAN network. It's not connected directly on LAN network, right? They are connected on wide area network, right? So it will be impossible for primary site which is present in Houston to manage these devices in remote location which are connected on WAN network. So we install one secondary site here and one secondary site here. And these secondary site will be managing the devices in Boston and Seattle respectively. And these two primary secondary site will be reporting to this management point. So this comes into the picture when you have head office and branch office, but you still have less number of devices like less than 100,000. In case if you have a big, if you expanded your business even more, even bigger. So let's say you crossed 300,000 devices. So 300,000 devices globally. One, two, three. Let's say 100,000 devices in Houston. I mean in Americas region, 100,000 in Europe region, and 100,000 devices in Asia Pacific region. Okay. Now to manage these devices in these locations, you will put one primary site. So one primary site in Houston that will be managing all these devices. Okay. Let's say some devices will be in remote located from Houston, Seattle, Boston. So this primary site is managing all the devices in Americas region. This primary site will be managing all the devices in Europe location, and this primary site will be managing all the devices in Asia Pacific region. So the total number of devices is 300,000, and all these primary site will be reporting to this central administration site. So central will be sitting on the top of the hierarchy, then you have primary and then secondary. That is how the SCCM architecture is designed. Clear, guys? Any confusion on this?
I have another question,
Mm-hmm.
Kashif. An example, if, well, let's put in situation the second one that you have Houston, Seattle, and Boston, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't pass the 50K devices. It only managed like 30K devices.
Mm-hmm.
If it is fine just to keep a primary site, just one instead of two of each one. It doesn't matter if they are in different location, like Seattle or Boston.
Yeah,
Can
so
we?
only one no, in the level 2, Let me, it is little, give me 1 minute, discard. And where is that picture? Slideshow and current. Okay, so you are talking about the second one, right? Hello? You're
Yeah,
talking
yes.
about this one, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So it has only one primary site, which is in Houston.
Uh-huh.
And this has secondary site, this has secondary site. We don't have multiple primary site here. Only one primary site, but multiple secondary site.
Okay,
Clear?
we cannot configure Seattle and Boston with the same primary site, even if they are in different location. If they don't pass the 50K, just like they have like a 30K devices in total between Houston, Seattle, and Boston.
Yeah. So we have 30,000 devices, right? As you said, in total. So 30,000 devices, that means one primary site can manage up to how much devices? 100,000 devices. So one primary site is capable enough to handle all the devices in Seattle and Boston, but it cannot directly manage the devices because the devices are on WAN network. So we need to have one server here, that is secondary site, one server here, secondary site, and both these secondary site will be talking to this primary site.
Okay,
Got
so
it?
that's the best way to install the secondary site because
Yes.
we connected one device, right? One
Right.
network.
Got it?
All right, got it. Thanks, Kashif.
Anyone else has any question? No one? I'm getting background noise from somebody. I'm not sure. Okay, I see Vasu. Hi, Vasu. Would you like to
Yeah, this is
introduce?
Leela here actually. I'm not
Okay.
Vasu.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Would you
sorry.
like to introduce yourself about your IT
So,
experience and what is your expectation out of this training?
so I don't have any. This is Leela here. I don't have any IT experience. Like
Hmm.
I'm fresher, so I have to
Okay.
know the SCCM full configuration manager.
Okay. And I see one more guy, Jay Kumar. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Kashif.
Hi. Would you like to introduce yourself and your experience and expectation?
Uh, my experience is 3 years in SCCM, working as SCCM administrator.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to have a complete infrastructure training about SCCM.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay. So, Jay and Leela, would you send your email address, please, on this chat window? Send me
Yeah.
your email address on the chat window, please. Okay. So, this is the SCCM site architecture. Now, there is one more architecture here. Um, Central will be sitting on the top of the hierarchy, and then you have multiple primary site and multiple secondary site. Okay. Then you have multiple site roles. We'll discuss about these site roles when we go into actual training. So management point, distribution point, these are SCCM site roles, and every site roles has its functionality. We'll discuss about these things, why we need these roles when we deploy SCCM. Now, You also need to understand why SCCM is required, what all features and its functionalities, what all things you can achieve with SCCM. Okay, so you can do asset management. So in asset management, you can do hardware and software inventory. Okay, so you can find out what all software and hardware present in all the computers in your company. Okay, um, asset intelligence to categorize the application, software metering to find out the utilization of software, whether software, mostly we do it for licensed application. So you can find out the utilization of licensed application, whether the application is being utilized or they are just lying in the computer, people are not using it. So that is for software metering is basically very crucial in terms of managing license. Client management, you can manage clients, deploy applications. Let's say you have to deploy one application to all the computers in Mumbai or all the computers in your company. You can deploy application in one go using SCCM. You don't have to use any other method or manually install. SCCM is the one which can help you to do all this task. Software update, you can deploy patches to all the computers and keep your computers up to date. Operating system deployment, you can manage your you can deploy operating system through SCCM. You can manage your content using SCCM. So compliance setting, SCCM can help you find out how many computers are compliant and how many computers are non-compliant. It will give you the list of all compliance and non-compliant computers. Power management. For example, after 7 o'clock in the evening, nobody is available in the office and there are like 10,000 devices. So you can turn off all those devices, or you can shut down those computers, or you you can you know s- put you can turn off the monitors of those computers or put them on in sleep mode or hibernate mode, so that during non-peak hours when people are not available, you have the less power consumption. So you can reduce the power consumption and save electricity. Okay, so you can use this SCCM to do that. Client health. So basically SCCM is client and server facing tool. So it will SCCM will give you the list of all the computers where client is unhealthy, and you can repair those clients. Endpoint protection, you can deploy antivirus. You don't need to purchase any third-party tool like Semantic or Norton. Endpoint protection is already integrated in SCCM. You can deploy endpoint protection to all the uh, computers to keep your computers safe and secured from viruses. And mobile device management, you can manage Android, iPhone, iPad devices or Windows devices from SCCM too. Administrative features are there. So role-based administration, basically, if somebody is good with application deployment, let's say Hari, you were there in application packaging team, so you had application deployment role, but you cannot do anything else because the role was limited only for application deployment. If somebody comes and he is good with software updates, so we have that role available in SCCM, so we can provide software update role. If somebody comes and he is good with application operating system deployment, so we can give operating system deployment role, so that he is dedicated only for that task. He cannot perform any other task. Okay, he will not have access to that. Remote management, using SCCM you can remote into users devices. You don't need a third party tool like VMware, this one TeamViewer or GoToMeeting or WebEx. You can use SCCM to that will help you to take remote control of a user's computer. Users can remote share, share their screen. Reporting, monitoring, you have um, n number of reports format like Excel, PDF, CSV format, Word format. You can get your reports in those formats. And monitor, you can monitor the SCCM components like SCCM sites and site roles. And if anything goes wrong, you can get an alert, and then you can troubleshoot. So basically, these are the SCCM features and functionalities in nutshell. There are more, but on a high level, you can, you know, make a note of it, these things. Now, when we go in the training, I want everyone to do a lab. It's going to be practical lab all the session. Um, so either you set up your SCCM lab on your local computer or on Microsoft Azure Cloud Data Center. So for local lab setup, you need to have at least 12 gigabyte of RAM, quad-core processor, and 300 gigabyte of hard drive space. So minimum requirement for local lab setup is this one. If you do not have this configuration, then you can go on Microsoft Azure Cloud Data Center. So in Microsoft Azure Cloud Data Center, you just need one computer with internet connection. That's it. Nothing else. One computer with internet connection is good enough. Whatever the configuration, whether it is 1 gigabyte or 4 gigabyte or 10 gigabyte, it's not required. You just need one computer with internet connection, and that will help you to connect to Microsoft Azure Cloud Data Center using web portal, and then you can set up your whole lab there in cloud. So our lab architecture will be like this. We will have 3 Windows server. One will be your domain controller, another one will be SCCM primary site server, and the third server will be your SQL database server. These are the 3 Windows server, and you will have one Windows 10 computer. That's gonna be your client computer, Windows 10 or Windows 7, anything of your choice. And these will all will be connected on this locally. All will be on the same LAN network. I mean, so these will have the same connection. They can talk to each other. That is going to be your SCCM lab architecture. Okay. Any question, guys?
Yeah, in this lab, there is no W source, or it is installed on the SCCM itself.
We will install a WSO server on the same server, SCCM server.
Okay.
So
So
we'll
regarding the
have,
software,
yeah, WSOs here. We will have DNS here. Yes, go ahead.
yeah, regarding the software metering, it is only for the Microsoft products, or we can have a software meeting for the other products as well.
Any other product as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Anyone else has any question?
Hey, Chief, can we try also, try to do a second client, but Linux? I think we can manage also Linux with
Yes,
SCCM.
we can. Yeah, we can. But the problem with Microsoft Azure that you can have maximum 4 computers in one region. Okay.
Okay, and
So if you're
the requirements that you said that, to install the SCCM, we need 12 gigabytes and RAM and a quad core. Also, if we do a virtual machines, we need that one with that minimum requirements, or it's different on the lab.
uh, yeah, so if you have a Windows 10 computer or Windows 7 computer at home, And minimum, this is the minimum requirement for 4 computers. Okay, so 12 gigabyte of RAM. If you have 16 gigabyte of RAM, that is more than sufficient. And quad core processor and at least 300 gigabyte of hard drive free space.
Okay,
So
it's because
if you have this kind of
I have 4 gigabytes of RAM. So I mean, this is my home computer. I mean, I don't use too much, so
okay, so
that's
you just have 4 gigabyte RAM.
yeah.
So SCCM is
So
not possible on your local computer.
yeah,
You will
okay,
have to move on to Microsoft Azure Cloud Data Center.
okay, all right.
I
Okay.
have a couple
Now for
questions.
yeah.
My company has a whole 500 computers, 5,000 computers, I'm sorry, and we expanded to whole North America, South America, Europe, and Asia. So my understanding is like one central administrative server, and each primary sites on each region, and like a secondary sites for each state. Is that correct?
I don't think you will have central administration site, because central administration site comes into the picture when you have to when you have a, let me just take you to this card. Central administration site is required only when you have more than one primary site. You see, the requirement for central administration site is this one. When you have more than 100,000 devices. So you said you only have 5,000 devices, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you should not have more than one primary site. So you do not have one primary site. Your um, architecture will be this one, the second one in the second one, this
Okay.
one. So one primary site will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know which location, you will have to check. One primary site maybe in central US or you know, somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and you will have a secondary site on all the locations, on all the branch offices.
Okay, it doesn't
Okay.
it doesn't matter UK or Asia.
No, no, it does not matter.
Oh, okay. And my second question is, when you comes to asset management and intelligence, can you cover ServiceNow integration too?
No, no. ServiceNow integration is a ticketing tool. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So that is actually a different thing altogether. And integrating ServiceNow, it needs a coding language.
Oh,
Okay. You
so
have to have
from
a
SCCM,
hmm,
do we have to do anything for the integration, or ServiceNow guys used to take care of that?
ServiceNow guys will be able to do it. On SCCM, you just have to enable a port so that
Okay.
ServiceNow guys can connect to the SCCM through API of service SCCM. So it will
Okay.
connect to SCCM API.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Any other question, guys?
Kasif,
Anyone? Uh-huh.
does SCCM capable to manage third-party patches?
Yes. Now from 1802, you will be able to deploy third-party patches uh, through SCCM. Previously, it was not.
By default feature.
Yeah, it is now added. Not by default, you have to enable that one. When you install, it is not enabled. You have to specifically enable that task.
And on one point in the set, you mentioned that application and software that is never used, we can identify. So is it
Mm-hmm.
possible, suppose in a cross, like if the uh, organization is not standard, right? So you have to find out uh, uh, software that is not used, never either the last time used for each workstation, like particular software, either all softwares. Is it possible through software material?
It's possible, but normally what we do for with software update, software metering is we create software metering rule for licensed application. Let's say you have Adobe Acrobat and you have purchased 100 license for Adobe Acrobat and you installed it on 100 computers. Now, after a month or two, if you would like to see the utilization statistic, you know, SCCM can give you the utilization statistic. How many people are using Adobe Acrobat? How many people are not using it? So that is possible. Got it?
Okay. Okay. So
But you can,
the
yeah, but you can do
software
it for any
meeting,
application. Yeah.
that needs to be enabled for all applications. Then well, we will able to get those information.
Yes.
Like,
Any other question, guys? Anyone?
Hi, Kashif.
Hello.
One
Yes.
question from my side. So the question is, can we manage the clients within a different forest?
Yes.
Uh,
You can.
and if yes, then what are the possible configurations we need to make in config manager? I mean, let's say if we have two different domains, so how can we manage both of them?
Okay. So, for example, you have SCCM, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you would like to manage two different domains computer, right? Let's say this one is
Yes.
Coca-Cola.com and this one is Pepsi.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your question, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
in
yes.
Coca-Cola.com you have 20,000 devices. In Pepsi.com you have like 30,000 devices. So what do you do? This SCCM server should be reachable on the network from both these domains, right? So suppose if the devices in Coca-Cola.com domain should be able to reach to this one. I mean the
So reach
connectivity
in the
should be
sense,
there. Connectivity should be there.
okay, got it.
Got it? So from network
Yes.
end, you have to make sure they are not on a two different separate network. They are on the same network. Got it?
Okay.
Now in Coca-Cola.com, you in SCCM, what you do, you have to go to the Active Directory of this one, Coca-Cola.com, and you need to extend the schema of Active Directory, and you have to create a system management container. So extend schema, AD schema, and we need to create a system management container. Okay, same task you have to perform here
Okay.
because these are two different domains. Okay.
But SCCM server should be part of the domain Coca-Cola or Pepsi, joined to domain.
Anything. It is not mandatory that you should have only on Coca-Cola or only on Pepsi because at one given point of time it can be added to only one domain, right? You cannot
Right,
add a CCM server with two different domains.
definitely.
Now, this condition is when you don't have any trust relationship between these two domains. But if you have a trust relationship between these two domains, okay, so Pepsi.com and Coca-Cola.com both are trusting each other. So then it will be more easier for you. Okay, so you will be able to easily get information either from Pepsi or from Coca-Cola because both will trust each other and the devices will be synchronized. So you can get the devices from either from any domain, either from Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and then SCCM can start managing the devices. SCCM can also manage workgroup computers, guys. Okay, so it is that powerful. It is not required that you have to have the computers on the domain itself.
Yes, if the two different domains have a trust and they are already communicating, so in that case, the scenario will be different. We can specify the containers of a different domain because they are already in trust and they can discover the devices. But if the first case, what we were discussing, that Coca-Cola and Pepsi, in both of the domains, we have to create system management container, right?
Yes.
So once we advertise the site on both of the, domains. So what will be the scenario? Because in the first case, if we will publish the site on Coca-Cola, the job will be done, and the same task we have to do for Pepsi, right?
Right.
So how can we do it couple of times? Won't it create any complications in
No,
installation?
nothing.
So the
It
same
is
job you
just the
mean?
entry. Yeah, it is just the entry you are putting in Active Directory, so that all the domain joined computers can query system management container and get the SCCM related information from there. So it is like a notice board you are setting up for SCCM. So all domain joined computers can read that notice board from Active Directory.
So if I'm getting it correct, so once I have advertised the site on Coca-Cola, I have to again rerun the splash folder on the same server where I have the SCCM server, and then put on the domain which is on Pepsi.com,
No,
not the
no, no, no,
Coca-Cola.
no. No. You have to log into the domain controller of SCC of Coca-Cola. Got it?
Okay.
And run, create those system management container and extend a schema of Active Directory. Same task you have to do this. You need to log in on Pepsi.com domain controller and perform the same task there separately.
So that is I
Got
am
it?
done with that. I am done with that. I have created the system
Mm-hmm.
management container, extended the schema. But
Mm-hmm.
the main job is once I will install the site
Mm-hmm.
on any of my different server where I am hosting the SCCM site server. So once I
Mm-hmm.
install the site server, therein I have to mention the domain from where the machines will be discovered and the communication will make part. So once I am
Mm-hmm.
done for Coca-Cola, how will I be able to do it same job for Pepsi?
So because you will have, when you do the discovery, you are on the discovery part now, right? After
Not
installation or during the installation?
during the installation. I am
No, no,
done.
during the installation, you don't need all these things. During the installation, it will just check the currently connected domain. For example, Peps SCCM is currently connected to which one? Pepsi.com, for example. It
Currently
cannot
connected
connect to,
to.
huh?
Okay. Yeah,
It
yeah.
cannot connect to two different domains at the same time. Understand that one?
Right.
So, for example, it is connected to Pepsi domain. So, if you are installing, it will first verify whether it is present, is if the system management container and Active Directory schema is extended or not here. That's it, and it will perform the
Okay.
installation.
Okay.
It is not going to check
Right.
Coca-Cola. It is not going to do anything here.
Right.
But it is required. Why it is required? For domain joined computers. So the domain joined computers can take all these SCCM related information. Otherwise, you will have to manually give those information during the installation of SCCM client on all the Coca-Cola computer. You will have to manually give in the command line that the management point is this, SCCM server name is this, DNS suffix is this. You will have
That
to
is that is
do those. Huh?
that is okay. So we
Mm,
why I'm putting this question because
mm,
in
mm-hmm,
the administration, when I go to the discovery option, the first option I have is the forest discovery, and there is only
mm-hmm,
one option found there that we can discover the forest. So from there the question comes in that how we can manage different forests in SCCM. If is it possible? You said it is possible, but there is only one option for forest discovery, and on the rest
On
of
the
the discovery.
domain, if you have two different forests, it will be able to discover two different forests.
Okay,
But if
so
you have
we
only one forest, yeah.
don't need to separately enable the discovery for all
No,
different
no.
forests.
No, 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 no,
From
no.
okay. Because that question also comes again when we have different discoveries in the system discovery, wherein we need
Mm-hmm.
to specify the container for different domains. If you want to specifically enable these discoveries for different OUs in a particular domain, then we have to specify the containers from where the machines will be discovered. So from there
Right.
I have this question that whether we have to also enable for it for the forest in within different domains. So that is the from there the question I have.
Okay. But you understood or not? Or are you still confused?
I got it. I mean, still I'm confused that if we have two different forests, I'm done
Mm-hmm.
with the site installation on Coca-Cola domain, and the
Mm-hmm.
communication is there for the Pepsi domain from SCCM and Pepsi domain as well as the Coca-Cola domain. But when we
Mm-hmm.
come to the discovery part, how the
Mm-hmm.
communication will happen? I mean, the
If
site
if you yeah, so if you do not have trust relationship, for example, if you do not have trust relationship, then you will
Mhm.
not be able to discover the devices. Got it?
Okay, that's what I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have the trust relationship, then only you will be able to get the container there. You can choose the container. You can choose your Pepsi.com and Coca-Cola.com and choose your containers there.
Okay, okay, got it, got it.
Kashif, can we make the Pepsi as a primary and the Coca-Cola as a secondary? Then we can have it.
Pepsi as primary and Coca-Cola. I mean, you mean the child side?
Yeah, child side.
Child Active Directory domain controller side. Is that what your
Yeah,
question is?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's possible. As a child is like, Active Directory is already has a trust relationship. If you have a child domain controller,
No, no, I'm not
then
telling about that. Like if he is facing the issue with the one SCCM server, so let it be
uh-huh.
the Pepsi, let it be the primary site and the secondary, the
No. Primary and secondary has to be on the same domain.
uh-huh.
It cannot be on two different domains altogether.
So for in this scenario, SCCM will not work for the second site
No, why will it not
without
work?
without without trust relation. It will not work.
No, it will work. Why it will not? The only thing is it's not gonna discover the device automatically
Forest.
from that
Forest.
forest. So
Okay.
if you would like to install SCCM client, you just have to install the client with multiple
Okay.
options. There are, you can use group
Yeah, yeah,
policy to deploy SCCM agent. Once the SCCM agent is installed, then it is
yeah.
almost done. You have to manage the devices.
Right. Okay.
As far as communication and name resolution is working, so probably that can be installed, right? If there is no trust, nothing, or group anywhere,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's correct. Is that correct?
Name resolution has, as in, it has to resolve the name, right?
Correct. So my
So it has
I'm
to resolve the name from a DNS.
clarifying here. Yeah, I'm clarifying here. Suppose if the workstation is on work group, right? Either in any other domain systems, right? So
Uh-huh.
the communication from the SCCM to that work group, either the different domain system is there and their name resolution is working, right? So probably
Right.
client can be installed, right? Without any other prerequisite.
Right, but workgroup computer cannot read Active Directory. It does not know what is present in Active Directory. So you have to specifically provide SCCM information during installation of SCCM agent on workgroup computers. Correct?
Like yeah, management and other information, correct? Yeah.
Right. Any other question, guys? Anyone? Carlos, Harry, Jaykumar, Muhammad.
One question I have. So maybe it's our during our later sessions, but let me put this question.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what are I mean, why we need to extend the AD schema? Is there any specific reason that why
Yeah.
we need to?
Yeah. So why we need to extend the AD schema? So do you know anything about schema? What is a schema?
Schema, I'm not very much sure. I believe it is the on top of the domain wherein everything exists and all the information is resides there in the schema.
Right. So a schema actually is like you can say database table. Active Directory is what? It's a table, right? I mean a database. Active Directory is a database. Inside Active Directory, you have schema. Schema contains classes and attributes. So it will have classes and attributes like this. Okay. So for example, you have one class called user. User is what? It's a class, like high level. You can call it as a category or something, right? And the attribute of user, what will be the attribute of user? It's going to be username, first name, last name, right? Telephone number, mobile number, office location, title, manager name, right?
Right.
The n number of attributes are there, right? Similarly,
Yes.
you have system class. System is a class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what are the attributes of system? System name, right? OS, operating system, OS install date. When was the operating system installed, right?
Okay.
Last modified date, last logon date, right? So these are the attribute of class. Got it? Now, when you install Active Directory, there is no class and attribute which can store these SCCM related information like SCCM boundary, SCCM management point, SCCM distribution point, SCCM site and site information. We in Active Directory there is no class and attribute present. So what we do, we extend the schema of Active Directory, right? So this one, when you install Active Directory, it comes with the default schema. This one is the default schema. Got it? Now, when you do the addition here and add classes and attributes only for SCCM, so the moment you extend the schema of Active Directory, we call it extended schema because we have modified the default schema, right? And this class and attribute will only for dedicated to SCCM. Clear?
Right. Right.
So that it
Clear.
can start storing those SCCM related stuff in Active Directory.
So everything related to discovery, like management point and everything. So that will be part of this extended schema, right?
Right, right.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Any other question, guys? Anyone?
So
Yeah,
Kashif,
Kashif, I have.
Yes.
do we also cover the operating system deployment within this session?
Yeah, so I already showed you this one, right? Operating system deployment. We'll deploy operating system. Multiple options are there. Bare metal deployment, wipe and reload, update, in place upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Those things we are gonna discuss.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any other?
Kashif, I have 8 GB RAM in local device.
Mhm.
Is Azure is going to charge, no?
No, that's free for first 30 days.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Okay. After that, if you would like to continue, then you will have to pay for it.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Kashif. Is the
Okay.
daily
So
time standard is 8 o'clock only? 8 p.m.
yes,
in the morning?
8 o'clock. Sorry, my niece was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Any other question, guys?
Oh, thank you.
So Hari, Reza, Ram, what's your email address? I haven't received your email address. Hi, Ram, you there?
Kashif, after completing this course, we'll get the videos as well.
No, you will get the video after every session. So I'll
Okay.
be uploading the video, and then you just have to download the video.
Okay.
Krishna 1187.
Okay, Kashif, what about the notes?
Yeah, I'll give you the notes as well. Also the dumps to pass this 703 exam.
Okay.
Carlos, what is your email address? And Ram, I haven't received your email address.
Sorry.
Ram.
That's my email address.
Okay. So anyone I left? Carlos, Harry, uh, Jay Kumar. Okay. Muhammad, Ram, Rama Krishna is there. Okay, Ram. There is one more guy named Ram. What is your email address? Are you the same person? Rama Krishna and Ram both?
Same.
Okay, so you joined twice. Okay. Reza
Uh,
and Leela.
one more query regarding does anything covered in cloud cloud architecture, either cloud setup something?
Yes, so I'll be taking you to Azure portal. Okay. So how to set up your Azure account? Portal.azure.com. So this is the website. I'll show you how to subscribe with Azure and then how to create your network. You need to create your resource group, virtual network, and then set up your virtual machines there. And then we will start deploying SCCM on those virtual machines. Got it?
Kashif, I mean, I have also went through the Azure session. I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
in that we have the virtual machines, which is having a default 126 GB space once we create it. So
Mm-hmm.
how can we set up having much configuration required and more space is required? So is it fine to have only and go with 126 GB, or it is auto extended?
126 GB is fine. You can use that one. In case if it is required, you can extend that one. That is not a problem. But the only thing is you will have to pay extra. Okay.
Okay, so
So
I
for the
mean,
first
if
30 days, it is free. But after that, you will have to pay extra.
so everything we can do from Azure portal, I mean, the WSS, SCCM, and everything,
Everything.
every job what we discussed here.
Everything.
Okay. So, I mean, it's not a question which is related to our training, but can we also, I mean, migrate our in place the DMZ on a cloud infrastructure? I mean, the SCCM infrastructure to the
Yes.
Azure.
Yes, you
Okay,
can.
okay,
You
okay.
just
So
have to
there,
create your express route between your on-premises network and cloud network. You have to make the network connectivity, and then you
okay.
can put your servers in cloud.
So it's only the infrastructure we can put on cloud, but can we also move our users and domain policies and all that on the cloud, or it has to be on the
You
on-premises
can
only?
you
We can.
can you can put domain controller there in cloud, and whatever the policies are available in locally on premises, the same will be available on cloud.
Okay, so whatever policies and GPOs we will be applying on the on-premises, it will be automatically replicated to the Azure portal, right?
Right.
Okay.
It will be similar like local infra, right, on the cloud. So, or it will be different, like instance only will be used.
No. It will be same as local architecture, because in locally what you do, you create servers, right? Similarly, you don't need a physical server. You need a server in cloud data center. So we will create our servers in cloud, and we will perform all the tasks what we can do locally. It's all same.
I mean, Kasif, what I have heard a few days back, I mean, I have also read the documentations regarding Azure, that when we synchronize the on-premises users and groups on Azure, it will be only
Mhm.
synchronizing the users and groups, not the GPOs and all that. You
No, no,
have
no,
to
no.
manage.
You are mixing two things together. The one is synchronization. The other thing, what was your question before? You said, can we do all the policies and all? So you can create a domain. What I said, you can put your domain controller in cloud, right? And whatever
Mhm.
the policies are available in here locally, same thing will be applied from the cloud domain controller rather than on the on-premises domain controller. Got it? Is that
Okay,
clear?
so yes, I got it. So,
Now, second thing, what you are saying is Azure Active Directory synchronization. This is a different thing.
okay,
Got it? Now, if you have a local on-premises domain controller and you wanna synchronize with Azure Active Directory domain, Azure Active Directory, then what will happen? Only the user and user groups, as you said, will be synchronized. GPO is not yet um, available. You cannot get the GPOs there in Azure Active Directory.
got it, got it. Thank you very much. Got it.
Yeah. Any other question from anyone?
So every day it will be, the session will be from 8 o'clock, or how it is?
8 o'clock every day.
Okay.
Okay. So those who would like to continue, okay, so kindly revert on the same email what you received and make the payment, and then we can start. Okay. Thank you, guys. Any other question? Anyone?
Kashif bhai, can I have your 5 minutes after the session?
Okay, I'll call you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye
Priya.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.